Welcome to The Soft Life with me, Candy Washington, where we explore all things self-love, manifestations, and relationships with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. So be sure to subscribe, share, and join us on Patreon. Hello, everyone. As always, I'm Candy Washington, and welcome to The Soft Life. And I cannot wait to help you lead a more joyful life. But before we dive into today's episode, which is exploring the dark side of being a nice girl and 5 ways to stop it, to cut it out, and to get your power back. This is part 1 because I have 10 ways actually. So I'm going to do part 1 with 5 ways, and then part 2 will be coming soon. So keep an eye out for it. But before we dive in, be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And also, if you need additional guidance and support on your self-love journey and on manifesting the life that you deserve, be sure to check out our courses down below. We have courses on manifestation, on self-love, on lifestyle design, and so much more. And join our newsletter. It's free, and you also get a free self-love guide when you do. So with that, go ahead and sign up. So let's get started on today's episode. So this is all about the dark side of being a nice girl. And what I mean by a nice girl is it's okay to be kind. I think being kind is wonderful. Sometimes people interchange nice and kind, and they are two completely different things. They're not interchangeable. And we also get into that. It's number 3. I'll dive more into the difference between being nice and being kind. So it's okay to be kind. But when you are too nice, when you overgive, when you overextend, when you never say no, that is usually a sign of some type of trauma or unmet need. So usually when we're overly nice, it's because we think that is the only way to get our needs met. You just have to give in order for people not to leave you, or people won't abandon you or reject you. You're getting your value and your worth from what you do, being nice, always saying yes, pleasing others, versus getting your value and your worth from who you are. Your intrinsic value, your intrinsic worthiness, your divinity that lives within, that is unmovable, unshakable, ungivable, and unbreakable, right? So this thought that we have to, quote, be nice really means I think I have to be nice because that's the only way I'm going to get love. That's the only way that people won't leave me. And that's the only way that I'm going to show my value and my worth. That's why there's the dark side to being nice. So I think the first thing you want to think about is, what is it costing you to be overly nice? What is it costing you in your life? And I'll break that down a little bit, and then I'll give you the 5 ways to stop being nice. We're going to cut that out, okay? The first thing that it's costing you is low self-esteem and low self-worth. You must think pretty poorly about who you are to think that the only way you will get love is by saying yes. The only way that you're going to be valuable is by doing so much for other people. That you have to put other people's needs and wants above your own needs and wants. That's rooted in low self-esteem and low self-worth. So when you think you're being nice, you're actually being manipulative, because you're saying, I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to say yes to you. I'm going to please you, because that's where I'm actually getting my value and my self-esteem from. You're getting it from their validation, their acceptance of you, rather than from yourself. The other dark side of being a nice girl is that you don't get to partake in authentic relationships, whether they are with your family, your friends, your romantic partner, your coworkers, yourself. You miss out on the joy of authentic relationships, because in order to have an authentic relationship, which is I like you, I love you for you, you like me, you love me for me, that it is what it is. You're stuck in a loop of codependent and narcissistic relationships that are not built on authenticity, which is I just like you for you. They're built on dependency. I like you and love you because of what you can do for me. They're not authentic, they're dependent. As long as you're doing what I want you to do, I love you. That's dependent. As long as you're choosing me and validating me and telling me that I'm worthy and I'm valuable, I feel loved, I get seen, I feel valuable. That's dependent. It's not authentic. Authentic is you can be yourself, you can say yes, you can say no, and I still love you. I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to abandon you. And then on the flip of that, I'm going to be me. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say no. I'm going to show up as who I am. And whether you leave me or not, whether you stay or not, I'm still good. Authentic. But when you have this nice girl mentality that you have to always say yes, always bend over backwards, always please other people, set yourself on fire, abandon who you are for somebody else, you miss out on the joy of authentic relationships. That is what is being too nice is costing you. You know, sometimes in society, people want to say, oh, be nice, be nice. For who and for what? For who and for what? No, thank you. And it's not being selfish. It's not being, witchy with the B. It's not being bossy. It's not being unlikable. It's not being, difficult. It's being a human being who knows their value and their worth. So, what is being nice costing you? Is it costing you living a life of bitterness and resentment and burnout and depression and stress and anxiety? Because that is what being too nice will always lead to. Because you're going to think, I do everything for you, whether they ask you to or not, and then you can't do this one thing for me. So then we get bitter and then we get resentful. We get burnt out because we're not taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of everybody else. That leads to burnout. That leads to stress. That leads to anxiety. That leads to breakdowns. So being overly nice is costing you the quality of your life. It's also conditioning people that you don't have needs. It's conditioning people not to take care of you. If every time somebody says, hey, can you help, do you need anything? And you're just a no person. Oh, I'm good. I got it. You're teaching people that you got it. So at some point they're going to stop asking because they're going to think you got it. Again, you're missing out on authentic relationships because when you have authentic relationships, just how you show up for people, they show up for you too. But thinking that you have to be too nice is costing you that. It's also allowing the bad traits of other people to come out because someone who may not even be that narcissistic or quote selfish or whatever you want to call it, but a part of our humanness is, well, if you're going to give, then I'm going to take. And the more you give, the more I'm going to take. I might not be a bad person, but if you're just giving it away, well, hey girl, I'm just going to take it. So not only are you conditioning people not to take care of you, but you're also bringing out bad traits within them themselves. You're not even giving them the space to show up for you. So those are some of the things that it's costing you to be overly, quote, nice. So let's talk about 5 things you can do to stop being the nice girl and start being the authentic, empowered girl. Number 1, start being strategic and start being self-aware. What I mean by this is when I say strategy is get what you want with the least amount of drama and friction, and do that through self-awareness. What I mean by that is instead of saying everybody just takes from me, take your power back and say, I need to stop being the person that just gives. Stop being the doormat. People cannot walk on you unless you lay yourself down. So get some self-awareness and start thinking, where in my life am I abandoning who I am, what I want, what I think, what I need in order to please and appease other people. And then start taking those small steps to start taking your power back. So we're not blaming other people. Oh, it's the narcissistic ex. It's the mean boss. It's the blah, blah, blah. It's my selfish sister. No, it starts with you. Because, like I said, you're showing people and you're conditioning people who you are and how you can be treated. So it starts with you, because we want to get what we want with the least amount of drama and friction. Now that goes into the strategy. So now that we're self-aware of that, hey girl, it's me, the problem's me, I'm being a doormat. Then instead of saying, guess what, everybody, I'm going to say, no, you can't treat me this way. No, we don't need to do all that. We don't need to do a long paragraph emails or long text messages. We don't need to do a TikTok or Instagram story. We just need to actually start being and showing up as the new version of ourselves that knows our intrinsic value. And we know that we don't have to give in order to be worthy and valuable and loved. Just start being. Start saying no sometimes. Start pushing back a little bit. Stop overexerting yourself. That's the strategy part. There's no announcements or drama that has to go down. You just start actually being different. And that leads us into number 2, is be gradual in your glow up. Change can be hard. Change yourself, other people watching you change, because not even that person might be a bad person, but hey, if I'm used to Candy that just always says yes, if I'm used to Candy that just is always there and doesn't have any wants or needs and everything I want goes, they might start to feel a type of way when Candy starts getting a little bit brand new. When Candy's like, no, Candy's like, this is a boundary. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. There might be some pushback there. So it's okay to be gradual in your glow up. Maybe you have a group of friends that they do stuff that maybe you don't really want to do. Just start out by saying, oh, hey girl, I'm actually really busy this weekend, but let me know about next weekend. You don't have to be like, I'm never hanging out with you guys again, you're toxic. No, you can just do a gradual fade out. Do the things you want to do and don't do the things you don't want to do. That's your authenticity. It can be gradual, right? Say at work, you've been a bit of a doormat and you always work overtime, come in extra early, stay extra late. Maybe it's a little bit like, oh, hey boss, I got some stuff going on this weekend. I'm going to leave on time on Friday. I can't stay, and do overtime or whatever the case is. Or, hey boss, I have all these projects on my plate. I just wanted to see if there's somebody who could take one of these projects off my plate, because I want to make sure that I'm really, really focused on the rest of the stuff and do that really well, right? It can be gradual, and it doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a drama. It doesn't have to be a blow up. Just you start showing up and start doing and being the new version in these little incremental ways that will build up to a bigger change over time. So it's okay to be gradual. If you want to wake up tomorrow and be 100% brand new, knock yourself out. But it might be easier for you in your relationships just to do it gradually. Do it gradually into it. Or just say, you know what? Hello, let me reintroduce myself. It is what it is. Do you. Number 3, practice kindness, not niceness. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I'm not saying that we are now having an attitude, we are now being mean, we are now putting people down, we are now being selfish with a capital S, which is the actual selfish, putting yourself at the over, you choosing yourself at the detriment of people. We're not doing that. We're not going to be that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about harnessing kindness. And let me tell you the difference between being kind and being nice. Nice is for the other person to think about you differently. That's what niceness is. I'm being nice because I want this person to think of me a certain type of way. I want them to like me. I want them to love me. I want them to choose me. I want them to pick me. I want to please and appease the other person. I want to get something from them. So it's you centric based on the other person. And it's a manipulation tactic too. I want to control and manipulate this person into giving me validation, into giving me acceptance, into giving me love, into choosing me and picking me and wanting me, because I don't get that from myself. That's niceness. Being kind, on the other hand, is also the other person focused, but it's focused on who you are at your core in a way to actually help the other person. I'm being kind to you because I authentically want to help you, not because I'm being nice to you because I want you to think or feel a certain way about me. That's why you can be kind, but not always nice or not always pleasing, right? Not always people pleasing. For example, you could say somebody made a really crass joke. Maybe it was really off-putting. A kind person could say, hey, I didn't really find that joke that funny. Can you explain to me what you meant by that? And then get into a genuine conversation. Because you could say, hey, you know what? That joke might be off-putting and offensive to some people. So I just want you to know how you're coming across and how it's coming, right? Rather than a nice person who might be like, oh my God, that was so funny. Because you want that person to think that you're agreeable. You go along to get along. You're cool. You're one of them. You belong. You don't want to rock the boat. But a kind person says, hey, listen, let me really tell you about yourself in this moment in a kind and loving way to educate you and to share with you how you might be coming across and how you might be offensive. And I just want to help you out with that. Kindness comes from the core of who you are as a person, and you do something that's kind that you think will actually benefit and help the other person that you're helping. Let me know if that makes sense or if we need any more clarity on that. That's why people say I can be kind yet firm. Sometimes being kind is setting a boundary with someone. Sometimes being kind is telling someone no. Sometimes being kind is being honest with someone. But being nice, you think I can't have a boundary. I can't say no. I can't be honest because then I'm not going to get what I want from that person. See what I'm saying? So practice kindness, cultivate kindness, but not necessarily niceness. And it's okay to be agreeable. It's okay to be pleasing. It's okay to be pleasant. But when you do it to the detriment of yourself, when you abandon who you are and what you want, when you do it overly, when you're people pleasing rather than self-fulfilling, that's when it's a problem. So it's okay to say, you know what, not my problem. It's cool. Like, whatever. I'm just going to, keep it popping, keep it pushing. It's okay to be a pleasant person. But when you take being pleasant to the extreme, that's when it becomes dark. Okay. Now, number 4, practice putting yourself first. Practice thinking, what is it that I actually need and want in this moment? And feel that need, feel that want first. before you think about exerting yourself for somebody else. Pay your rent first before you let people borrow money from you. Eat your food first before you go and give it away to somebody else, right? Take care of you first before you overextend yourself. There's something my mother always told me. I don't know if she made this up or if this is like a normal thing that people say. She would always say, charity at home and then abroad. So what that means is you take care of you first before you take care of outside of you. Charity at home and then abroad. She always told me that. And I believe that. And I take that to heart so much. What is it that I need in this moment to feel safe, to be happy, to be joyful, to be healthy, to be fulfilled, to feel okay? What is it that I need mentally, emotionally, psychologically, financially, physically? What is it that I need? Let me take care of those needs first before I think about checking off somebody else's needs and wants. Like they say on the airplane, put on your own safety mask first. So practice putting yourself first. Practice taking care of you first. It could be as simple as a simple meditation or prayer. What is it in this moment that I need? What is it in this moment that would be in alignment for my greatest good? Or what would be the next best thing for me to do? What would bring me the highest level of joy in this moment? And then before you do anything else, do that. That's on a higher level, but it's even on those little basic levels. Take care of yourself first. Put your needs first. And then number 5 is work on yourself. Listen to podcasts, read books, watch, YouTube videos. Of course, have discernment. Don't just listen to anybody out there on just saying anything, myself included. If I say something and you're like, no, Candy, that doesn't resonate, to me, it's like eating fish. Swallow the meat, spit out the bones. If somebody says something that doesn't resonate with your spirit, that doesn't resonate with your authentic self, cool, let it go. So of course, yes, have discernment with who you listen to, but work on yourself. Read the books, listen to the podcast, watch the videos, get support groups, get a therapist, get a life coach, get a spiritual coach, whatever the case is. Work on your own self-development. Learn what codependency is. Learn what narcissistic tendencies are. Learn what being empathic is. Learn what your triggers are, what your trauma was, and then heal and work through that. Work on yourself. Because being people-pleasing usually is rooted in a codependent personality type, is usually rooted in some type of trauma, whether that trauma is just having parents who weren't there emotionally. That's trauma. Trauma isn't always these big, massive things we think of. Trauma could be, your parents never came to watch you play Little League Baseball. So now you grew up thinking nobody ever shows up for me. That's trauma. And so now you are spending your entire life overexerting yourself, pleasing other people because you're still scared that nobody ever shows up for you. You're not good enough. You're not worthy. So work on yourself. Get a therapist, get a coach, read the books, do all of that. Work on yourself. And usually that being niceness is rooted in codependency. Learn what that is, work through your own stuff. Self-development is where it is at. Start some type of spiritual practice, whether it's journaling, prayer, meditating, connecting to yourself, walking in nature. Work on yourself, develop your self-esteem, because again, that people-pleasing niceness, that's rooted in low self-worth. I'm not good enough as is. So I have to prove my value and my worth so you don't leave me. So you don't think I'm not enough. So you pick me, you choose me, you accept me, you validate me. Work on your own self-esteem, work on your self-love, work on your self-confidence. And like I said before at the beginning of the video, if you need help with that, We have courses down below. We have manifestation courses, self-love courses, lifestyle design. We have our free self-love guide. Subscribe and share to the podcast, to the YouTube channel. Get the newsletter. I am sending out free content and free goodies every week on how to glow up. So with that is the dark side of being a nice girl. 5 ways to stop it, part 1. And I'm going to do a part 2 with 5 more ways to stop being a nice girl, get your glow up on, and take your power back. So with that, you guys, I love you, and I will definitely talk to you next time. Bye. Welcome to The Soft Life with me, Candy Washington, where we explore all things self-love, manifestations, and relationships with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. So be sure to subscribe, share, and join us on Patreon.